Hello and welcome to the Gothic Unicorn. Today it's back to 1/48 scale. Now I was planning to do some more work on Angman's Holt, which is my current building in progress, but for a number of reasons there's been a bit of a change of plan, and so instead we're going to be making some furniture that will in time go inside. So let's get on with it. Last time we worked on anything for inside of Angman's Holt, we were working on the kitchen, and we did the kitchen table and chairs, I think. But the room that the kitchen is going to go into is also going to contain the a sort of seating area, and with that in mind I have pulled these kits out, which is the retro gas fire and surround and 1930s fireside chairs. I have this sort of vision of how I want this room to look, and I think these are the pieces that I need to make it work. So we're going to make these, and I'm going to start, I think, with the retro gas fire. I've got an idea how I want this to look, and I don't know if it's really possible, but we shall see. I pulled everything out of the bag, and in order to figure out what went where, and also more importantly what colours everything needed to be, I had to cut all the pieces off the backing. Now these are the mount board pieces, and I just removed them with my scalpel as I normally would, just so that I could try and figure out which bits went where and what colours have got to go where, because that was fairly complicated. Now I've got the gas fire, which are these pieces here, and I've got the fire surround, which is here. I'm going to start off making the fire surround, so I'm going to move the fire pieces over here so I don't lose anything, and I'm left with these 4 pieces. Now the fire surround is quite simple. It's 2 pieces stuck together and then 2 pieces layered on top of that. But obviously the first thing I need to do is I need to add some colour. I'm going to be using my alcohol markers, and I'm going with this colour. I wanted this to be a sort of mustardy colour, reasons probably best known to myself, but even though it says it's fresh yellow, I think it's going to be the closest I can get to the sort of colour that I want. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to do my usual trick of just colouring these pieces. I know that the colour isn't going to match exactly between the mount board and the MDF. It never does. But I'm not going to stress too much because I don't want it to look absolutely perfect. And to be fair, some of this is actually going to be covered up anyway. Once the gas fire goes into place. The cooker was the other piece that I did last time, so that's why I've got cookers on the brain. I was trying to figure out what I did for this room previously. So as you can see on the MDF, the yellowy colour doesn't come out as well as I would have hoped. I'm just wondering if I should put a thin coat of white paint on this and then colour over it. That might be the better way to do it. I'm going to have to go and have a think about that. I put a thin coat of white paint on the 2 MDF pieces of the fire surround, and then I've coloured over it with my alcohol marker. Obviously I haven't got the best coverage with the marker, but I don't think a lot of this is actually going to be visible once the other pieces are stuck into place. So I'm quite happy with that as it appears, and it's definitely closer to the sort of colour that I wanted, so we're going to go with that. I'll be honest, I only painted the front and one side of that to start off with and left the back because then I thought, well, if it really didn't work, I could try something different on that side. The first step in putting this together is to stick the two MDF pieces to each other, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on both of those and throw the piece around because, well, why not? And then I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on this bit here. If I do it on this bit rather than on the tab, I tend to find I can actually get a slightly better finish. And then I'm going to put those two together and hold it in place. Now you want that obviously to be at right angles. I can't find my clear up cocktail stick, so we will just clean that little bit out, and I will let that dry for a moment, and then we will stick these bits in place. Now I'll prep this bit because it is so thin. I hate sticking these little thin bits on. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to hold the main body of it and I'm going to put the glue on the two sides, and then if I just turn that around slightly, you know, these bits are so small that I sometimes feel that you need extra hands to manoeuvre them because they're just so fiddly. This is where tweezers are useful, and I would usually have my tweezers out. I don't know why I haven't today. I'm being a bit dense, I think. It's been a long time since I've worked on anything this small, so it's almost like back to the drawing board. And okay, that's not too bad. Not too bad at all. So that can be allowed to dry, and then I've got this panel to stick onto the back of there. So again, glue and cocktail stick or glue with a fine applicator is your friend, especially when it comes to doing these little bits. I'm absolutely in awe of people that are working even smaller than this. I've seen some absolutely gorgeous pieces done in 1/144th scale, which is the traditional doll's house for a doll's house. So that is a 1/12 scale doll's house to fit into a 1/12 scale doll's house. Now if I just pop this onto there, and I've got it right in the right place, which is amazing. Now I'm going to set this aside to dry, but the only thing I'm going to actually do before you see it again is I'm going to give it a bit of a coat of matte Mod Podge, because I want it to have a bit of a shine rather than just being plain. Again, this is for reasons of my own, and I think it will then soften the difference between the colour. If it doesn't, I'll just dirty it up later on. There's me going to put it aside and I throw it. That is really how my day is going today. And onto the gas fire. Now this is the bit that I really had to think about as far as colours and how it went together. And what you basically got is you've got a little MDF piece which is the basis of the fire, and that has got the little actual fire bit, the actual, I don't know what you call them, the actual panels where the gas would come through and be lit, which is there. And then you've got a piece that goes over that, which is that. Then you've got a front piece, and then you've got two more decorative pieces. So I'm going to start colouring this. Now most gas fires add a metal section. I'm going to try and replicate the ones that I remember, which were mostly wood effect, with a metal section just around the actual fire bit. So I'm going to put some grey on that piece to replicate the metal, and then I'm going to do other bits in brown, and then the one vent I'm going to do in black, because they always seem to have been black. And what I've done as a bit of prep is I put a little bit of white paint over the bits where the burners are. They've got a proper name, but I don't know what it is, because in all the pictures I've seen they're always glowing, so it looks like it's lit. So I'm going to just give them a little bit of a very creamy light browny colour, just to give it a bit of colour, but nothing too much. So I'm going to go and do the colouring, and then we'll come back and put it together. I have all the bits of the gas fire coloured, and hopefully this is going to work out. So I'm going to start off with the little MDF piece, and I'm going to put a bit of glue around this, and then we are going to put this piece over the top. I know that this piece in particular looks rather messy, but not all of it will be visible, so we don't need to worry too much. What I'm also going to do is I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue onto the folded bit and fold that over. Tidy it up. I've got really messy fingers already from using the markers. Now the next piece is this brown piece, and I'm going to repeat the process. Put the glue onto here, dab a little tiny bit on these side bits, because if I don't put glue on there it will somehow manage to show me up. Always does. And again we layer this over the top. And then you can start to see the kind of dimensionality and the reason why I had to work out what colour went where, or rather what colour I was putting where. Now the top pieces, these are the decorative pieces. I've got this little tiny bit here, and whilst it's not the smallest piece I've had for one of these kits, it's bad enough, and that is going along here. And I have to keep turning it round to try and make sure that I've got it something like even, because we do want it to look good. And yeah, I think that's nicely even. If I bring this up towards the camera a bit, you can see. And then the final piece is a sort of a vent cover. It's just where the vent is. I'm not 100% sure, but on the real ones that there is some kind of vent at the top. And the ones that I remember, they were black, so we've gone with black. If it's something that you remember, it's always good to go with what you know. Well, it's the same with everything. With miniatures as with everything, it's good to know to go with what you know, because at least you've got half a chance of getting something that looks something like. Now I've got some bits of glue on here and I'm just going to tidy this up, and then I'm going to let that dry for a few moments before we stick it into place on the fire surround. My fire surround is ready, my little gas fire is dry, and we're going to put the two together. Now a gas fire was never, well at least this sort of gas fire didn't actually sit on the floor, on the hearth. So I need to actually put this so far up, at least the gas fires that I remember my family having, because it was always fun to try and find toys that would fit underneath the gas fire. I hasten to add, only when it was off. If we went near it while it was lit, oh, we knew about it. And then that will fit in there, and then that will go nicely in my sort of kitchen living room of the next house. I like that. Yeah, I do like that. Next, fireside chairs. Now these are 1930s fireside chairs, which I think is reflected in this kind of nice curve that the arms have got and that sort of thing. And they're really simple. Now, if I wanted to make these really, really easily, I just colour them. But I'm going to try and upholster them a bit. And with that in mind, I've pulled out a pen to do the wooden bits. And I've got a scrap of fabric. Now, this has got nice thin stripes on two sections of it. It's a much wider pattern actually. It goes from the grey through. And I think I've got enough there to do the seat cushion and the back stroke front section of the seat with the stripes. I hope. We are going to see. So I'm going to start off with this, and I'm going to start off by removing all the pieces out of here. I'm going to colour the arms, legs, the side panels basically with the marker pen, and I'm going to see about putting some fabric onto these. It's not going to be easy, I know that much, but this should work quite well because it's a nice cotton fabric. It's got a nice weight. It's not too heavy, so it's not really thick, but it's a good feeling fabric. You know, it's not too thin or fly away or anything. So fingers crossed I can get this to work. Here I have the bits of one of the fireside chairs, and I've got the main body of the seat here, which I have covered with my little stripy fabric. Now I've covered what would actually be the seat and the back, and I've wrapped it underneath the bottom. I haven't covered the sort of outside of the back. I've done that in the same brown as I've done the arms because I just decided that I liked that sort of a look. So I'm going to start off by taking one of the arm pieces and applying some glue, and I've got far too much glue there, I don't know what's happening, along this bar here and up this side here. Now I've probably got far too much glue, and I'm going to hold this in place, and I'm going to stick this piece onto there like that, and I want to get it so that the back is at a bit of an angle. Now I'm actually going to deviate from the official instructions doing this one because I've just decided that's what I'm going to do. What I've actually done is the seat cushion, the little piece of MDF, I've covered on the top and on three sides, and just to make sure that I can get the leg on, I'm going to actually stick this on next, and I'm just going to put some glue onto the bit where there is no fabric, and I'm going to put this into place on here like so. Now, everything isn't quite glued yet. I know that the glue hasn't quite took, but this actually worked. I've already done the other chair. I did one off camera just to make sure that it worked. If it hadn't have worked, well, I would have to have rethought it for this one, and then there'd only have been one chair. I'd have come up with some excuse as to why there was only one chair, but there would have been only one chair. And then we wait for that to glue. The glue takes quite quickly, but it does need a little bit of time sometimes. So I get some more glue and I'm going to put it onto here and just onto the edge of there and onto the edge of there, and I stick my other arm leg combo into place. It will work. The other one worked. I can get it to work, and yeah, come on. Now, before I let this set, I just want to put it up onto its legs and make sure that it is even, which it isn't. Oh, I'm doing well today. I told you earlier on in this video it was not going well today, and I wasn't joking. Don't know why. That's it. I'm not going to win any points for furniture design this week. I didn't design it, but I've altered it a bit. And that one has gone together far worse than the first one. Now I'm going to let that have a little bit of drying time, and then I'll show you how it's turned out. So here we have my chairs. What I actually decided while they were drying was I decided that the white on the fabric was actually too stark for these, and I've just gone over the white bits with a very light grey marker, and I've got some chairs that I think are going to work. Oh, I've got a bit there that I need to go back over with the grey because I forgot about it, the bit on the side. Whoops. See, just proves I don't know what I'm doing. But yeah, I've got a pair of 1930s Fireside chairs. And here we have today's pieces. 2 Fireside chairs, 1930s style, and a retro gas fire and surround in a very sort of fetching mustardy yellow colour, which it'll work for me. That's all I'm going to say. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. Maybe even ring that notification bell so you know when I put a video up. I put videos up most weeks, normally on a Friday, but I never say never because life gets in the way sometimes, and well, you know how it is. But until the next one, bye.